Good afternoon and welcome to Schellenberger Field on the campus of University of Lynchburg, where today we see the end of the ODAC men's soccer season as the Quakers battle the Hornets for all the marbles this afternoon. Let's take a look and see how these teams got here. First, we're going to talk about Guilford and their improbable run, the Quakers' conquest, if you will, as they took to the road for the quarterfinals at number 3 RMC. And there is the game winner in overtime from Mr. Nzekwe, Kenny Nzekwe, showing off the muscles, pumped and proving that they are a team to be reckoned with as they now host number 7 Roanoke. We had many upsets in the quarterfinal round, and there's Nzekwe again, the game-winning shot and goal in PKs, and got a lot better at taking the shirt off during the second stanza of their trip. Now, how about the Hornets being headstrong, working through a home game and an away game? Luke Mega, it was tied at 2 apiece until this one in the second half to defeat crosstown rivals Randolph 3-2 and move on to take on the Tigers of Hampton-Sydney at their place as the number 1 seed. Again, going to overtime, and it's Manzi Shalita, the freshman, taking care of business and pushing the Hornets to another ODAC men's soccer final. And with that, we welcome you inside the booth. I'm Joe Hutzler. He is Coach Matt Newton of Lynchburg Women's Soccer, and today we get to see the fruits of these teams' labor. A lot of ups and downs with COVID throughout the seasons, but here they are today with a chance to make history in front of a great crowd on a really beautiful day in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Yes, and you got Lynchburg, who's been here before, so they have this game management that they kind of know about, and then you got Guilford, who hasn't yet, but they can go full throttle.
And these two teams have already played this year. 5-1 was the final that day, Lynchburg taking care of Guilford on the road. Does that play into this at all, or is it really all about the momentum these teams have built throughout the tournament?
Well, if you're Lynchburg, you certainly can't just assume that's going to happen again. I mean, this is the ODAC championship. Anything can happen. You've already seen it in the tournament. If you're Guilford, you've got to make the adjustments so that doesn't happen again.
Let's take a look at these two teams, a side-by-side comparison of what they've done so far this season. And on screen, you can see that overall Lynchburg has the advantage, but we know when it comes to playoff time, it's a matter of that ball bouncing the right way.
Absolutely, and you've already seen it play out once.
Well, we're going to step aside and come right back with some more, talking about some players and some coaches, things you need to know before we begin the ODAC Men's Soccer Championship on LHSN.
For the love of the game. That's what it's all about, they say. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that, a lot more.
Sure, the game is important, but as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team and the schools and communities we represent.
And for the many of us blessed with the strength to compete in sport at the college level, we understand that with what we were given comes a special obligation.
An obligation not merely to work towards a personal best in the classroom or in the sport we love, but rather an obligation to help those who have their own special needs and whose love for the game is no less intense.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. For Special Olympics athletes, victory belongs not only to those who first cross the line, but to all of those who compete and endure.
They are challenged in ways we cannot imagine. They are survivors who test themselves harder and with greater joy than we will ever know.
Since August of 2011, we and others from Division III campus communities have volunteered more than 250,000 hours, time away from the classroom and practice field, reaching across the country to coach and mentor Special Olympics athletes.
And to learn, as we all do, that in giving we receive so much more in return.
Sport ennobles us, and in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
Be part of it.
Get involved.
You can make a difference.
Well, you've already seen a little bit of that guy. You're going to see a lot of him today, I'm sure. Kenny Nzekwe is our player to watch for the Guilford Quakers today. 16 points on the season, 8 goals, no assists. He's the man to get the job done in crunch time for the Quakers. As for Lynchburg, another man all about crunch time. That's Luke Mega. Leads Lynchburg in points as well. He has 17 with 8 goals and 1 apple to his credit here in 2021, coming off a Rookie of the Year campaign a season ago. wind has picked up oddly enough here today, but the sun is out, and we'll take that over the rain that has been in the forecast recently as we are ready to begin the final game of the ODAC season, of the whole season for both of these teams. No NCAA tournament, so this is it. Put all your chips on the table for the next 90 minutes. Right now, Lynchburg looking to take advantage of being at home and both teams having a lot of adrenaline pumping through their veins to start this, which we know can be a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing, Coach Newton, if you're not really focused and you're just trying to go on pure adrenaline.
Yeah, I mean, right now I think you're seeing both teams sort of playing a little bit of a mid-block, so they're just sort of not quite low pressure, but they're waiting till they put that pressure on as the ball comes up the field. And so hopefully that can get some nerves to calm down. Usually they say the first 5 minutes, that's kind of the crazy time. I feel like it's the first 7 minutes. I find myself looking at the clock in the first 7 minutes after that going by, and then things kind of settle in. But right now, you're seeing just a little bit of a kind of low pressure.
And if you're Guilford, you would love to win the first 7 minutes based on history as Robles looks for an angle to cross, but it is promptly kicked away by Sebastian Salas. This is a Guilford team that has lost the last 10 matchups against Lynchburg. In fact, their one goal they scored earlier this season is the only goal scored against Lynchburg since 2012. As you take a look at Coach Yeager, looking for his 7th ODAC championship since taking over for Lynchburg 19 seasons ago. This could be today his 13th ODAC title as both a coach and a player. He is a Hall of Famer at Virginia Wesleyan, was a player there, was an assistant coach as well. So he's looking for history to be made for himself and for this team this afternoon.
Yeah, and there's nothing better than playing for an ODAC at home.
Last time Lynchburg was at home for an ODAC final, they were victorious. Heck, the last 2 times they were at home in 2016, 2017. Winners in those seasons against Washington and Lee. Today, an opponent that has never been here. Guilford's program history seeking, and today finding their first appearance in the ODAC men's soccer final. The tournament itself began in 1989. The ODAC, of course, goes back to the late 70s. From 76 to 1988, the winners were based on overall ODAC record. Lynchburg won 10 of those 13, by the way, with Bill Schellenberger at the helm. And then once more teams saw the beauty of having men's soccer as an option, they increased it to a tournament. And Lynchburg, after that, has won 6 championships since 1990. The competition has grown much more fierce throughout the years. The tournament began with a lot of victories from Virginia Wesleyan and Coach Yeager, by the way. He won his freshman, sophomore, and junior season before Charlie Butcher and the Roanoke Maroons took care of the Marlins in the senior season for Coach Yeager. So 4 finals appearances, but that last one, that senior year championship appearance, was a disappointment thanks to Roanoke.
I think he likes to rub that in too.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. They're still great friends.
Yeah.
Of course, Charlie Butcher is here on campus as one of our Google nerds, our Google experts and geniuses on campus, helping us transition, especially through the last year of all the Google Meet additions. So they are still good friends. They still jab one another as you would. Today, though, they're cheering for the same team. Luke Mega with a one-touch into the center. Ben Mackey is there, Carter Averett, and now Joey Daly. So Lynchburg having the same starters that they put forth against Hampton-Sydney. And a long ball, the wind carries it for Luke Mega, settles it down, looks to that left foot, now comes back to the right. Salas with great defense on one of the best players in the conference to slow him up.
Yeah, that's tough defending there, and he did a great job.
Joey Daly surveys the field, sends it in, offside, perhaps. No, a whistle coming from the referee. I thought maybe flag was up, but it was not.
Looks like he's calling a push. Maybe a little bit getting in the way of the keeper. Couldn't quite tell. It's a little bit further up now, so probably a foul going into the box.
Corey Speed on your screen. Whoop. We're all over the place a little bit here to begin the contest. Maybe we can do it now. We were a little pressed for time to get some of our pregame content in. There we go. Coach Speed looking on this season, 5 more conference wins. That ties the top most wins in a single season since 2012. We actually did it in previous seasons as well. They have really made a significant turn under the tutelage of Corey Speed, who has coached at every level, high school, NAIA, and all 3 NCAA divisions. He was a goalkeeper himself in college at Sterling College in Kansas. And now sees a Guilford team that was 6th in the standings, a 3-way tie for 4th place at the end of the regular season. Lynchburg, Randolph, and Guilford all 5-2-1. And they go to the 5-point tiebreaker that put Lynchburg at the 4 spot, so they benefited from a home match on Tuesday. And then took care of business for the 2nd straight season against #1 Hampton-Sydney at their place. And in both times, dramatic fashion. 2019, it was PKs. And earlier this week on Friday night, it was an overtime winner from Monzi Shalita.
Well, and that's the thing about the tournament so far. It's been just sort of anybody's game. And so who's going to come out and play their best or do their best and let the result take care of itself. And so far, you've had a bunch of different teams do that.
Never a bad thing when you have some parity in the tournament. Always makes it a little bit more intriguing as well. And so we're very happy that you're joining us today from Schellenberger Field. As this ball's played ahead for Joey Daly. It's down for Mega, looking to turn to that right foot. Couldn't get it cleanly though. Lynchburg still pressing. Dale at the 18. Just gets that one away to Averett. Now it's Shalita, the hero on Friday night. Pushes to Dale, who got the would-be assist on that play. And it's Mega, deflection, and it's in! Off ahead in front, friendly fire, and the Hornets on top first.
Yeah, and just that ball hung around the box too long, and so they were able to combine and be patient to finally get a favorable shot off. Good finish by Lynchburg.
Luke Mega scoring to make it 1-0. 9th goal of the season. And his 3rd in 3 games during this tournament, with 2 on Tuesday night.
He had already had the ball inside the box a couple times in the beginning of the game. Certainly something you don't want.
Well, now Guilford has to contest with history against Lynchburg not favoring them and the fact that you're in the last game of the season, the title game of the year. You're down 1-0. Confidence, they have to find something to bring that back. They haven't been down here very much as Nzekwe boots it across the end line for a goal kick. No sustained pressure, no sustained really offense at all for Guilford through the first 10 minutes.
No, and I think you're seeing a little bit of their strategy, which was to kind of hang back, sit in, and play a little bit more opportunistic soccer. Wait for Lynchburg to make mistakes to score off of. But ultimately that ball hung around, like we said before, too long, and they're able to put it in. So you're seeing more of a quick counter, hitting balls long. For a little while the ball stayed on Lynchburg's half, and that came from winning the ball, just hitting it long to their goal scorer. And then it stayed there for a little while, but nothing really happened with it. At some point they'll have to change that strategy.
Yes, oh yeah, no question. Certainly if they give up another, they'll be forced, their hand will be forced to change that strategy. We will, now that we have some technical issues out of the way, we will show you that goal again when time permits. Of course, if you are watching, you know that in soccer, that might be the only goal scored. However, Lynchburg building again for another good chance. It's Daly with the crosser. That one's off the post and wide.
Even almost an own goal there. I mean, it came off the post and hit one of Guilford's defenders who was facing the goal. It's why you tell defenders to always, when they get in the box, face out, so the ball, if it does come off of you, it goes away from goal.
And now Daly will promptly jog to the corner spot and take the first one of the day. Lynchburg with 67 set pieces from the corner this season. Most of them from Ben Mackey, but when it's a left-footed chance, it's Joey Daly. An in-swinger that is promptly headed out. Now put back into play. Dale boots it in. And Nzekwe heads it away. Jasper Ardinger has it taken away. Here's Luke Mega, a dribble to the right. Low leader, and it's Salas kicking it back.
Almost had Robles through.
Ryan Doyle searching for space, and a pass that's off the mark. This is the 22nd meeting since 1999 between these two. Lynchburg is 9-2 at home. In that stretch, they lead the series 17-4 in the previous 21 matchups. And as we mentioned before, they have won the last 10, giving up just 2 goals in that time span.
In reality, if you're Lynchburg, you can keep doing this. You can keep moving the ball. You can just keep the ball till finally you get in like that.
Robles, and the crosser is sent back. Guilford, of course, playing back, so they're going to be in the majority of those passing lanes. And we have a whistle that will put the ball back near midfield. Quick kick from Averett. Here's another good chance, and it's off the fingertips of Zach Van Kampen. Shalita was that close to getting his second in 2 games.
You know, they're able to move the ball, able to combine, and really just put pressure on. And by being able to put pressure on, you're able to create mistakes on the other team.
Almost 15 minutes gone by. We've been looking to our right a lot. And the beginning of this one, Lynchburg out shooting Guilford 3-0 overall. And they have one shot on goal that finished with a goal. And here's the second one, Bailey Kearns.
Yeah, again, a ball that just gets into the box, just right at the top of the box. Bladed off, one touch, easy goal.
The senior from Broad Run, Virginia, in what is possibly his last game as a Hornet, makes it 2-0.
Now that gets to, there's a lot of time left, but that makes things pretty tough. Especially when, if you're Guilford, you haven't generated a lot to this point.
You saw the second goal. We're going back to the first goal there for you to take a peek at. Mega with the shot and glanced off a Guilford defender and in. Nothing quite right working for Guilford to this point. And oddly enough, you know, you look at Guilford style and Roanoke style, those two kind of meshed well in terms of what you mentioned earlier and how they approach the game. But they scored 3 goals against Randolph-Macon, and Macon's not typically a team that's going to lay back too much. So it's evident through the tournament so far that, well, I guess that's to say they scored 4 goals. So they scored the game winner in overtime. But Guilford can score. But right now, this game plan is just not going to get them where they need to be on the offensive side.
No, and they have you need at least one dangerous player to score, and they have that. And so he's been able to do those things when he has the ball, but he hasn't had the ball much. Mm-hmm. And so if you can't get the ball to your most dangerous player, it's going to be tough to score.
All the analytics in the world, and really it just comes down to basics, to basic fundamentals when it comes down to it. And that's what's taking place so far as Guilford desperately tries to get something going here through the middle, working up to an offensive opportunity perhaps with 30 minutes to play in the first half. All home teams so far with 4 shots, 2 on target. Both have gotten past Van Kampen, and they lead it 2-0.
And Lynchburg's doing a good job of combining and breaking down those areas and finding spaces and making forward angles to get forward. And that's what you have to do in a team is kind of just fill in that space and making it compact in front of the goal. You've got to just keep moving the ball to try to move them around to get into those spaces and to get in behind.
Potential opportunity on the left side of the midfield line, but Mega with the pressure, and the whistle was a kind of a delayed one, just waiting and calling that to be a free kick for the Hornets. Nick Foley will take it, the senior captain, with a goal on Friday night, the first goal of the game. He's an integral part, as well as that man, Josh Auger, on set pieces, using their height to come in and head one home, and the one that he had on Friday night was textbook. Godino lays it off for Ardinger. And this one rolls all the way back to Foley, and not much of an effort related to pressuring the back line of Guilford by Guilford. Zekwe's there, so is Gonzalez.
Nope, still slightly low pressure.
Potential here, but only for a moment, as the captain, Ben Mackey, stamps out that chance. Great consistency coming from the midfield, thanks in part to number 10 for the Hornets. That's been an area since I've been at the University of Lynchburg for the last 6 seasons that this men's soccer team has always been strong at. You think about Jack Ashby, Nate Burning, Ben Mackey. That midfield area is always pretty tough to get through.
Yeah, and you gotta, to me, your center mids are kind of the engine to your team, and so you want them to have the ball, want them to move the ball. It's just that style of play that they like to do as well. So always fun to have those guys in the middle.
certainly has to bring a nice level of confidence to you as a coach that you not only have the talent in the middle, but a guy like Ben Mackey, who is a captain, who can be your coach in the field at times if necessary, depending on the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's back to, you want guys like that to have the ball, because usually they're making good decisions. They're making the attack happen. They're creating things, and you're able to, I would be interesting to see, where did Ben touch the ball in the run of those goals that just happened. I bet he did.
Right. Admittedly, he did say that he was partially at fault for the one given up on Friday. However, the team, you forget.
They rallied.
Yeah, you forget about that when you're victorious at the end of it all.
Yeah, but you look at it, he's probably a part of so many more goals scored.
Yes.
So it's hard to, you hate, as a player, you hate if you feel like you're responsible, but at the same time, a lot of good things come through number 10.
Lynchburg is the 4 seed, and Guilford is the 6. They were tied at the end of the regular season, but it's also a Lynchburg team that their 2 losses came by just 1 goal. They lost here at home to Hampton-Sydney and to Washington and Lee at home 3-2. That was a match that they started out rough, down 3-0, and they fought back in the second half to outscore the Generals, but it was just too much too late to come back from. So you're really looking at, talent-wise, a Lynchburg team that is one of the top teams in the conference. Maybe not necessarily earning that 4 spot on talent alone. They just had some games not go their way. So something to be thinking about related to the matchup here. On paper, Lynchburg is favored, and right now they're showing why they are favored as they get another corner set piece.
Yeah, and there's no question they have the talent, and a lot of those guys are doing awesome right now.
Ben Mackey will head over to take this corner, the second of the half. First time Mackey has sent it away. His corner kicks were a part of 2 goals this week for the Hornets, a 5-goal week for Lynchburg before today. As this one rolls back to the near side corner, Salas will make a play there. Robles steals it away. Man goes down. Here's Dale chipping it inside. Van Kampen comes way out and gets a piece of it. That's a nice aggressive move from the keeper.
Yeah, and he may get scored on if he doesn't get a hold of that.
Maybe it wasn't as nice as I expected, or as I thought with that rebuttal. But with the type of play Lynchburg has inside the box, it seems like the keepers that are more aggressive benefit from, as opposed to potentially letting someone like Foley or Auger get a head on it.
Corners are tough just because of the redirection. Get a 2v2 here.
Robles off the bar, rebound comes out, Kearns hesitates, sends it in, still a chance at the 6, punched away and now bounced into the arms of Van Kampen. But what about this Lynchburg offense? They are clicking on all cylinders this afternoon.
Well, what really made that work was the clearing run that came across the box. It pulled a defender out of place that allows Robles to take that touch inside, get square on with goal, and then almost put it away.
Just south of 23 minutes remaining in the first half, and really tough to find what the Quakers can do based on what we've seen that could change the complexion of this game. Perhaps a throw deep in their offensive third could help right here, and a substitution as well. Coach Speed sending in that gentleman, Christopher Sanchez.
you got your best player kind of limping off the field. That's not certainly not something you feel like will help your chances.
No ways. And Zekwe goes to the bench, and a freshman comes in for him. Zekwe is a sophomore, so he's hoping to make more of these, but would love to make more of an impact in his first ODAC championship appearance, as Mega sends a beautiful one to the 18, and just a hard touch coming off that foot of Robles.
Yeah, I thought that was going to make it all the way Mackey, who might have just take a touch and shoot.
Dale will find Ben Mackey, and he will wait for reinforcements, looking for some open room to pass the ball. And now Lynchburg will throw it in front of a large student section. It's turned out for what they're hoping to be the third ODAC championship since January of 2021, when we got back to athletics here at Lynchburg, as Robles gets a little cheeky, making the fans enjoy themselves a little bit more than they already are.
That'll make the highlight reel. It's a little bit hard to see from my angle, but got Jake down there in the corner at the camera. Hopefully he got a little bit of that.
Jake Kilmer, women's soccer and men's lacrosse team manager, helping us out today, a part of the LHSN crew, enjoying a fine day outdoors here in Lynchburg, Virginia. We hope it is beautiful wherever you are, and even if it's not, as long as you have a strong internet connection, you can enjoy the action today. I mentioned Lynchburg looking for their third ODAC championship. That would be in addition to women's swimming and women's basketball, who have rung the victory bell already this season. Men's soccer looking to do it for the 7th time under the direction of Chris Yeager. It would be the 17th championship in the ODAC overall.
That'd be a beautiful day to do it too.
It'll be the first time we've done it this year where it's been bright outside, which I prefer.
Yeah. You know, Lynchburg's able to put some just great pressure, especially into the box. You know, that ball went backwards. We had players in the right spot to make the pressure and make errors happen, and that's, you know, the last thing you want if you're Guilford, passing the ball backwards in the box with players running right at you.
Coach Yeager talking and things over with his next 2 substitutions, his first 2 of the half. Brennan Lagana to your right, and Liam Lavelle there on the left side of your screen. This time last year, Liam was on SportsCenter for a different reason than pure soccer. He actually got on there thanks to the toilet paper challenge that was going around during quarantine, and had a couple of great juggling attempts in his living room that ended with him popping the roll of toilet paper into the fireplace that was not lit, by the way. He did not waste toilet paper. As Shalita rolls one inside, it's kicked out by Van Stralen. Still not across the end line yet. And now they'll play with it in the corner. Mackey, and it's out of play. But Lavelle would like to make it on the highlight reel for soccer purposes, I'm sure, as he does have 2 goals this year in 6 games played. And right now bringing in some fresh legs against a very, what we would imagine, the tired defense for Guilford. They have been on the back foot pretty much since the beginning. And here they are again trying to deal with this pressure. Mackey getting it back to the center. Lagana not quite in position, but Lavelle chases it down. Looking for an angle here, and it's going to be a corner kick in the end for Lynchburg.
Yeah, and it was a great run by Mackey, you know, driving the inline and popping the ball back out. And even if that ball doesn't get across, you're hoping to get a corner off because you had so many players running towards goal. You think, hey, maybe I can get a corner off, or maybe they poke it in, which almost happened earlier in the game. Get an own goal.
Joey Daly over to take the corner. 3rd one of the half for Lynchburg. Swings in, keeps it low, heads back to the 18. Salas tries to catch up to it. It's Mega instead. Now Salas will take it into the corner. Daly with a clean steal. Finds Mega. Mega crossing one. Headed away by Ure. Ball stays in play down this near touch line. Shalita back for Daly, rips one, deflected through, and now sent back towards midfield.
Yeah, and Lynchburg's been able to win just a lot of 50-50 balls. And they're just able to keep the ball in the half just even from that. So even if they lose possession for a little bit, their pressure has been so excellent that they win it right back and they're able to go to goal.
And still worth noting, as Guilford has it in their offensive half, their best player, Kenny Nzekwe, is on the sidelines at the moment. Limped off the field a few minutes ago. And I'm looking over to the sideline now. I don't see him. He might be sitting down behind some players. In fact, yes, he is. So he is getting a rest. And for the Quakers fans, they hope that it's not a permanent rest, as there is still a lot of soccer to play. And certainly 2 goals to come back from is doable. You just got to get something going, and maybe this is it, as down goes Gudino, and a yellow card quickly given to Josh Auger. Interesting to see a yellow card pulled this early in a match.
Yeah, and you know, that seemed to be a little bit of a soft yellow, I would say. You know, this guy likes to give out yellows, though, so that's all I'll say about that.
You have personal experience, it sounds
like. A little
like.
bit of experience, so.
We will reserve judgment completely until the end, as fans look on here from Schellenberger Field, taking in the action both in the stands and on the track.
Bringing out the magic spray, too.
Oh, we are official today. It's the championship game.
Yeah.
This is it. No NCAA tournament. This is it. This is the final game of the men's soccer season. ODAC Women's Soccer Championship also going on today. Bridgewater and Washington and Lee. So 2 champions will be crowned. As Guilford lines this up, Yohan Lanza way off the mark on the first set piece of the afternoon. Yohan Lanza just didn't get it the way he wanted to. Maybe had some wind to help him out. Worked against him, though.
Yeah, and the tough part about getting a yellow that early is, you know, obviously there's 15 minutes left in this first half, and then you've got a whole another 45 minutes. And you know, if they're going to be yellows for something that's, you know, a little iffy, you really got to be careful now as a player. Sometimes it changes how you play a little bit.
And even though you won't have to sit out the next game because there isn't one, if you're Lynchburg, you don't want to have to play with 10.
No.
How about this Guilford team? Seems like a crowd favorite. Liam Lavelle wins the ball. And in the process, a foul is called against Guilford. This guy is very serious about ball placement for free kicks.
Yep.
By the book. I guess when you see the foam come out, you know it's going to be a very technical day. So far, it's been pretty much as technical as you can be on Lynchburg for their offensive efforts. 7 total shots. They have put 3 on target, 1 save from Van Kampen, and 2 that got past, to bring us to a 2-0 lead. Goals from Luke Mega and Bailey Kearns.
And again, they're just able to keep the ball. They're able to combine and find that space. And, you know, again, it's 13 minutes left. Really, you could just keep it the whole time now if you wanted. You can go as slow as you want to go now because you're up 2.
And the Quakers' game plan is still pretty much the same as they continue to be on the back foot. That ball rolling in, looking for Lavelle, trying to win it himself. He does. Kicks it here to Mega. Here's the build along the end line. Mega rolls it back, and a shot that's deflected wide. Lagana was in a good spot. Actually, it wasn't deflected. He just missed it. And so it'll be a goal kick, but another great possession on offense for the Hornets.
And again, those runs to the inline like that, close to the 6, are so dangerous because so many options come from them. So you can have so many different ways to score, so many different ways to get corners, things like that, because you get into that space.
It's got to be extremely frustrating, too, for the Guilford players, the coaches, staff, anyone watching, to see just 2 Hornets go through 4 defenders like they're not quite there, and not having the ability, Guilford seemingly not having the ability to stop someone like Lavelle from winning that ball right back, even though he was outnumbered.
Yeah, and they're timing their runs in behind really well. I would also say that the wind, when a few of these long balls that have come off, it's hung up a little bit. And so just the way it's bounced has been pretty advantageous to getting in behind. And then that also allows numbers to get forward and to get in dangerous spots to shoot.
Yeah, it seems to be swirling a little bit around Schellenberger Field. Usually it comes in from our right, as you see it on your screen, over top of the Hornet statue and blows in through the stadium as Guilford has their best chance and turns into their first corner of the half. But right now we take a look at the corner flags. One is straight out parallel with the field, and the other one closest to Turner Gymnasium is more headed towards the stadium side of the field. So interesting how the ball will change direction on those long hits. Something to keep continuing to look at as we move forward. As Coach Speed makes another change.
Put a little more height out there.
And the Quakers take another look at a set piece this season. This is their 53rd corner kick. As we are now ready. Logan Haustein puts it in. Gallagher went for it. I'm not sure if he got it or Foley did. Either way, Guilford will retain possession with a throw on the far side.
Good clear either way. You just get it out of that mix. Clear it however you have to clear it.
And a ball across. No one here for Guilford. And so Lynchburg will take it from there. By the way, that substitution for Guilford was Axel Sandoval Pineda, freshman from Winston-Salem, who came in to provide a little bit more height, standing at 5'11".
Again, interesting foul.
They're all going to be interesting for you today.
Yeah, probably.
I have a feeling.
Yeah. Just seems sort of like a run of play kind of thing, but Guilford choosing just to retain possession.
It's a very young Guilford team, 30 men on the roster, 20 sophomores and freshmen, just 10 juniors and seniors, which is good for the future.
Yes,
based on, if nothing else, just being here. Just as you mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Lynchburg right away has the advantage of players who have been in this moment before.
Yeah, and there's obviously, like we may have mentioned, there's nerves that come along with that, and so when you're a young team, and you haven't been here very often or at all, it's you feel it.
Now being down 2-0, any doubts that you may have had to start with have grown larger, especially as more time rolls off the clock. We are under 10 minutes to play in the first half. Joe Hutchler joined by Coach Matt Newton of Lynchburg Women's Soccer here on LHSN as we broadcast our third ODAC championship game. We were inside for both women's and men's basketball, and here we are for men's soccer, and we plan to be here next weekend as well for Lynchburg field hockey's run at a third straight ODAC championship. They will be the #1 seed based on being the lone undefeated at the top of the standings at the end of the regular season, so they will skip ahead to the semifinals on Friday and hope to be here on Sunday as Coach Yeager and his staff make another change on the pitch. Saeed Usman and Patrick Bakunis make their first appearance with 8:50 to go in the first half.
And Joe, I don't know that I could help you with any of those sports, though. So
That's quite all right. We have a bit of a game plan for field hockey specifically, as last week we proved that we could bring someone in remotely for one of our Lynchburg men's lacrosse broadcasts.
Wow.
Daniel Rowe joined us from Richmond in his home, and his wife Alyssa is a former field hockey star, so we plan to bring her on the broadcast and can help me out, help me navigate the 60 minutes that takes place during a field hockey match next week. So we're in good hands.
Good.
Related to that. D. Rowe's going to help us out with more lacrosse, and we still have about a month left of broadcasts to bring to you. So if you enjoyed today, please consider subscribing and clicking the bell icon to be notified of when a live broadcast begins. In fact, it'll give you a 30-minute heads up before the next broadcast begins as well.
And again, if you got a smart TV, you can watch it on your TV. It's what I do every time.
That has been such a game changer
Yep.
in the world of fandom, of being a fan of anything,
Yep.
being able to just cast something or turn your smart television on and check out YouTube or whatever your favorite app is. It's just a major game changer. From even just when I got here 6 years ago, you were either on a laptop or you were on a phone.
Right.
And thank goodness, or good luck if you're on a phone.
Yep.
So
Yeah, you
laptop was the best form of being able to watch online. Free kick, glances off the body of Liam Lavelle. Salas doing what he can, but just outnumbered and a bit outclassed by Seth Dale, who's a sophomore that has got starts since being a freshman. And Lavelle, realizing he could just send it in. He's got the speed of Usman, plus the wind kept it hanging for a long, long time.
Yeah, initially I wasn't sure about that, but as it hung, it became more and more and more dangerous. To where the keeper was like, "Can I catch it? Do I need to head this?" So he's able to get it and just roll it out.
Got to take a moment to applaud Zach Van Kampen, the senior from Waxhaw, North Carolina. So far today, things have certainly not gone his way, but anytime you can win a match in PKs, the goalkeeper's a large part of that. He made a couple really big saves on Friday night into Saturday morning. That game actually didn't get completed until close to 1 a.m. on Saturday morning, thanks to the weather. So that late in the day, tired, you've played 2 overtimes, making a couple saves and putting your team in a position that they've never been in before in program history.
Yep. Yeah, and PKs don't favor the keeper at all. I mean, it's totally against them, really. So you're just hoping in many ways that the whoever's shooting can't handle that mental challenge. Pause for a second because I couldn't tell if a player was on the other side of ours. Because if they were, that was going to be a dangerous play.
5.5 to go as Gallagher gets a little bit more testing. He's had to come out on a corner kick, and then most recently you just saw him roll out to hold that one up. And it's good to see Gallagher is healthy and playing today. He had a really odd moment on Tuesday in the first 3 minutes, almost seemingly away from the ball. We look back and he was down on his hands and knees. Actually, on a goal kick, his shin contacted another player's and had a huge bruise on his right leg the next day when he stopped by to tell me, because someone told him that I wasn't sure what happened, so he came by my office to tell me what happened.
To show you what happened.
To show me what happened, yes. So that happened on Tuesday, and then as Averett and Auger play here, then on Friday, he went down hard on a chance by the Tigers. It was more of a wind knocked out of your situation, but it was not looking good there for a long period of time. The athletic trainer, Bryce Wellen, had to come out and check on him, and even had the backup keeper, Justin Ennis, warming up just in case. But he powered through, finished that game, and he's here today in his senior campaign trying to be another storied goalkeeper lifting a trophy here on Schellenberger Field.
Being a goalkeeper, it can be tough life, as you're putting your body on the line a lot.
The objective of the game is to get it past you, so everyone is coming at you as hard as they can. Tough spot to be in for sure. Luckily, they get to use their whole body.
Yeah. you get to do a few things that other players don't get to do.
Laszlo Van Stralen up ahead to Pineda. Pineda hounded by Averett and Auger, and just doesn't have enough on it to get it cleanly to his intended target. Chavez did his best as Guilford continues to try and make some positive strides heading to the break, but Lynchburg not giving them an inch with 3:17 remaining.
Guilford's been able to string a few passes together, I'd say, in the last, 10-ish minutes, a little bit better than before. I don't know if it's a result of their subs coming in and just being a little bit more ready. Sometimes it helps to be able to watch the game first and then bring that player on. Some players do better with stuff like that. But still, obviously, Lynchburg with majority of possession and the attack and just the threats that have come from it.
Quakers still looking for their first shot of the game. They average 14 per contest this season as Usman comes in, but offside is the call from the near side AR. Lynchburg, on the other hand, 8 total shots, 3 of them on target. They also lead corners 3-1. Each team with 4 fouls. And Guilford trying to win the last 2:15. Still a lot of soccer to be played. Crucial if they can have one build-up, just one moment where they're thinking, okay, we actually can move the ball against this defense and we can get ourselves in a position for a comeback.
It may come off of those set pieces. I mean, ultimately, they may need to take more advantage of that in the game if they're looking to try to tie things up.
On your screen was Arturo Campos, sophomore from Jamestown, North Carolina, coming in. That's Bryce Wellen in the red shirt, athletic trainer for Lynchburg. This is Brennan Lagana by himself, one-on-one. Lagana pots it in the back of the net to extend the insurance policy for Lynchburg. It's 3-0.
Yeah, and just a great timed run to get in and clinical finish. Really puts this thing in a, you got a whole nother half, but it makes it tough. There it is.
Pretty fundamental, huh?
Yep. I missed the ball through. I looked up, I was looking at across the field, and I looked up and he was in.
Third goal of the season for the freshman out of Burlington, North Carolina. Third goal of the half, and the one that might just seal the deal in the first 45 minutes. 3 goals is always tough to come back from no matter what, but we have not seen enough from Guilford to believe that they have what it takes to do such thing. And Lynchburg's certainly not going to hold back. And it's really feeling like maybe that first game this season was vindictive of what we're going to see today. Sometimes you want to squash that because it's so far back in the season, but 5-1 then, 3-0 now, much of the same, just a different location.
Well, and I think, if you're Lynchburg, you've looked at the tournament, you've seen people, get knocked out and things like that.
Whew, Usman
just keeps going.
Continuing to work his way around 3 Guilford Quakers, and still time for Lynchburg to put another one on as Pecunis sends it across, headed back by Lavelle, and played here calmly by Campos. Turnover, Mackey, and a whistle that keeps it with Guilford, and that might take us to the break.
Yeah, and then so I was afraid to say a whole lot because we were getting close, but you look at it, you just can't take anyone for granted, and look at that previous score like we talked about, and they didn't, and they've come out really hard, and they've moved the ball really well.
Another chance, Van Kampen holds on, and that will take us to the end of the first half. Lynchburg looming large and in charge today through 45 minutes. They lead it 3-0. We will step aside, come back, and go back in time a little bit with some flashbacks to previous matchups between these two programs and previous ODAC championship games on this field, plus first half highlights next on LHSN.
Lynchburg really stood out for me just because of the way it treated its students. They really do make an effort here, and I've learned that over my 4 years is that they actually do try to listen to what the student body wants, and they try to act on that. They don't really just give you a piece of paper here to then go off and do your own thing. They actually prepare you to like work with different populations, which is what the world is all about. It's just working with people that are different than you. They genuinely care that everyone has the ability to go off into the world and make a difference with whatever they like. For me, that's just being basically in a room with someone helping them achieve their first goal of, I don't know, doing a pull-up. I actually do believe they want you to do the best you can to change someone's life for the better. You can be anyone here, which I think is really cool. But regardless of who you are here, they will make sure you don't fall through the cracks, which is awesome. I have realized that I've never felt lost here. I will not regret ever coming here, that's for sure. So I'm very glad that I came here. Yeah, it's actually pretty awesome.
My name is Marlene Castaños. I graduated in 2009. I was a communication major. I am a digital producer now for the Martin Agency. So we have brought up amazing clients from Geico to Land O'Lakes to Oreo. So we get to create amazing content, all those funny Geico commercials that you see. And as a digital producer, I get to create amazing content for digital. I was very highly involved here. I was president of my class while I was here. I was president of the Hispanic Society. I joined a sorority when I was here. I had like 2 jobs. So having a sense of managing my time, it kind of pushed me to be better at my job right now. Just knowing that you had someone on your corner was really important, and they really took the time to really invest in their students. I felt like I had a cheerleading squad behind me at every single point. They were the ones that encouraged me to look for those opportunities, to push myself, to be better. So it's definitely truly an amazing place. I brag about this place all the time. So if anyone gets lucky enough to be part of this community, it's life-changing.
Halftime here at Schellenberger Field, and having some fun are some women's soccer players enjoying the 3-0 lead the men's soccer team has over Guilford at the break. And let's go back in time to the last time Lynchburg and Guilford took to this field. It was a great one. You can hear it in my voice. Here it is. Mega kept that away from Tallman. Mega keeps it away from Godino. Plays it inside. One more. Here it is. Opportunity knocking. And this time the Hornets are welcomed inside with open arms. Senior night. Michael Lyons finishes it. It's kind of a big deal that day. It was also my 400th broadcast, so one that I cannot forget thanks to Mr. Michael Lyons. We'll take a few more moments to step aside. When we come back, Coach Newton will join me. We'll talk about this first half, show you some stats, and much more on the halftime show here on LHSN.
I was looking for a school that could provide me with the athletics, academics to pursue my career, a wind symphony to pursue my passion for music, and really have a nice general atmosphere. The professors here are really unique, their background and their passion for teaching. It's really a place where you can explore. Lynchburg gives you the opportunity to fail, but also get back up in that period of time and learn from your mistakes. I can make these mistakes within the school environment, but also with the support of other friends, and be ready for the real world when you graduate.
Guilford College has club sports, intramural sports, and varsity athletics. Guilford competes in the NCAA Division III as a member of the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. Student athletes participate in several varsity sports. The first stop is the Reagan Brown Fieldhouse that houses the athletic offices, facilities for basketball, football, tennis, and volleyball. Next is the Mary Ragsdale Fitness Center that was recently renovated in March 2019. The next stop is Alumni Gym that houses sports studies, the basketball court, and locker rooms and training rooms. The next stop we have is the Jack Jensen Golf Center that houses the men's golf team. Next spot is McBain Field, home of the men's baseball team. The next stop is the Maynard Batting Center, home of the baseball team and the softball team. Next spot is the Armfield Athletic Center, used by the football team, the lacrosse team, and the soccer teams. The next spot is the Hayward Softball Field. Next is the McMichael Tennis Courts, used by the men's tennis team and women's tennis team. Next spot is the Greensboro Aquatic Center, used by the women's swim team. Next is American Hebrew Academy, used by the men's and women's track team. Next is the Meadows at Guilford College, used by the cross-country team. And that concludes this virtual tour of Guilford's athletic facilities. Thanks for watching, and go Quakers!
And we're back at Schellenberger Field. It's halftime. Lynchburg leading the Quakers of Guilford College 3-0. Joe Hutzler and Coach Matt Newton with you. And, Coach, not many adjustments needed for Lynchburg, but a lot for Guilford. I know 3-0 is a really, really tough score to be looking at, thinking like you have a chance. But if you're the coach, you've got to give them something to be positive about, to feel good about. What is that for them?
For them it may be a change in formation, moving more players forward, things like that. You want, like we talked about, that first 5 minutes, maybe that first 7 minutes, you want to try to get some sort of momentum, whether you're just pressuring the ball all the time, you're getting it in their half, maybe even score. So if you're Lynchburg, you don't change anything in your style of play and what you're doing because you're so successful, but you've got to be ready to weather that storm and don't give them any momentum. Go for that kill blow, whether it's a goal or whatever that may be, keeping the ball long, stuff like that, where they continue to lose faith, and then ultimately I think you might see more goals scored. By Lynchburg, sorry.
Yeah. Sometimes stats don't tell the full story, but they kind of do in this case. Let's look at some first half stats, and it's a 3-0 game, so as you would imagine, Lynchburg dominating in every facet of the game so far. They've had more set pieces as well. So, like you said, recipe for Lynchburg shouldn't change much at this point. I guess, do you say anything at halftime, or do you just let the guys hang out and figure it out themselves of what they should do?
I mean, you obviously say a great job for what they're doing, and you've got to continue to do that. And the big point is don't let up.
Yes.
Pedal to the metal, continue to drive, and take care of business. Don't let, 45 minutes, that's a long time, even though you're up 3. And again, if you're Guilford, obviously we're looking at these stats. Can't score if you don't shoot.
Yeah.
So you've got to figure out how do you get yourself in position to just get some shots off. Even if they're not the greatest opportunities, that will create some sort of stress on a team that maybe later you get a better opportunity to put away.
Well, we've got more soccer to come, more halftime show to come as well. It's 3-0 Lynchburg on LHSN. Deflection in front doesn't get it.
Imagine the complete athlete. Strong, tough, resilient. Imagine the complete fiber. Strong, tough, resilient. Built by science, proven by testing. The best way to improve the future is to create it. Field Turf Revolution 360, the complete fiber.
65 years ago, Virginia Farm Bureau made our local farmers a promise to protect and preserve the way of life they work so hard to establish. Today, our insurance agents work to protect all Virginians, not just farmers. But the original promise remains. And when you have insurance with Virginia Farm Bureau, you're an important part of upholding it. So help keep Virginia, Virginia. Talk to your local Farm Bureau insurance agent today.
Let's go back in time to the last time Lynchburg men's soccer was on this field for a championship. November of 2017, Jack Ashby made it 1-0 against the Washington and Lee Generals at then Lynchburg College. And this was the first 10 seconds of the second half. Bang! Pretty much the end of it. A mistake by the keeper, Freddie Flores, the beneficiary. And for the second straight year, Lynchburg defeating the Generals 2-1. Same score, same place, same result. The 6th ODAC championship in Coach Gager's tenure back in 2017. We'll be back in a few more moments with the first half highlights.
Everyone has a story. A triumph, a time they fell short, a gift, a light all their own. Every story has a beginning. For us, our stories began long before we got here, at the moment we discovered we had something to share with the world. But no matter where we've been, our journeys weave together at the University of Lynchburg. Since 1903, we've grown from a handful of students to a diverse, dynamic community of students, professors, staff, and alumni around the world. In a community that supports who we are and who we want to be, we're on a journey to find where our passions lead so we can lead others to find theirs. Together, we have more experience, we have more knowledge than we do alone. Eventually, our stories will lead us to a path all our own, and we will share our passions with the world. No matter the journey we choose, the University of Lynchburg is, and always will be, our home.
Look at the stat thing.
Welcome back to University of Lynchburg here in Lynchburg, Virginia, where today we are hosting the ODAC Men's Soccer Championship. Lynchburg and Guilford meeting for the second time this year, and this time it is a 3-0 score at halftime. That first meeting was a 5-1 defeat against the Quakers. Let's take a look at the first half stats, or excuse me, the first half highlights. We're going to see a lot of goals, and they're all going to be from the white shirts. Luke Mega with the first for the Hornets, and then Bailey Kearns gets involved after a save from Van Kampen. And really, this is a really good showing of what the problem was for Guilford. Just too much defense. They were just playing on the back foot too much.
Yeah, and it just got stuck in that final third, really close into the 18, and a ball that just stays there like that, somebody's going to eventually put it away.
So 2-0 even to this point. Kyle Gallagher gets a little bit involved for the Hornets, and then Brennan Lagana late in the first half. In fact, a minute and a half to go. His third of the season is the third of the day, and it's Lynchburg on top 3-0. There's Luke Mega. He's our top player of the first half. Right now he would have the would-be game winner, but also just having a great week so far in the tournament. 2 goals on Tuesday, a goal here today. Now, interestingly, the conference is not handing out MOP for the soccer tournaments, but if there was one, Mega in a winning effort today would certainly be the guy.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's just really gone off at the end of the stretch here, and that's what you want out of your better players.
And I'm taking a quick look, and interestingly enough, you talk about best players, and Zekwe is not out there for Guilford. So whatever he had to come off the field for in the first half has kept him off during halftime. He is standing up on the sidelines with a penny, so it could be a chance for him to come in later as a sub. But at the moment, down 3-0, your best player not on the field, that won't help.
Yeah, and it looks like his quad is bandaged up. So, he had a good bit of speed there, and obviously as a threat like that, if you can't use your speed, it hurts a little bit of your effectiveness.
Yeah, coming into today, we had 2 of the top 3 goal scorers in the conference on the pitch at the same time, Luke Mega and Kenny Nzekwe. Mega has added to his total as he comes through the box again by himself, working himself inside and got that shot away. Incredible effort from Luke Mega as Lynchburg is picking up right where they left off. Mackey crossing one through that Van Kampen can hold on to. How about the effort from Mega? Goodness gracious.
Yeah, beating almost 3 guys, definitely 2 guys, and then getting tripped up a little bit in the box, but just getting your toe on it, forcing them to make a good save.
It's so interesting when I think back about the great teams at Lynchburg, and since I've been here, and the guys that were, the goal scorers. Everybody has a role, but some are just really good at that thing, and that's why they're up playing forward as Guilford is playing up for the first time in a while on offense. We'll pause that thought to see if they can come away with a good chance here. And unfortunately, Seth Dale just too much for Salas, and that ends before it can really begin. But I'm always interested in the personality, because in other sports, your best guys, we saw it last night, men's soccer, men's lacrosse, lots of goals being scored and lots of outward energy of, yeah, look at me. But you see Luke Mega around campus, you see him before the game, very calm, very laid back. Freddie Flores was the same way. Speaking of former Lynchburg greats that could score for the team, I just always find that fascinating that your technical players, your really skilled players, they seem to be not as outward when it comes to being off the pitch. They're just very focused on what their duty is, and they don't make a big show about it.
No, and you want them to go about their business. Let their work on the field speak for themselves. That's the best way to do it. So it's pretty obvious, who's good out here, and you don't have to say anything.
Yeah,
just do.
Just do, exactly. We would say the rest of that, but we're an Adidas school, so we can't go. We can't say that.
Yep.
Just about 3 minutes gone by in this second half. Guilford has had a pretty good run. See if they can maybe build off of that. But I will say that, speaking of building, this is a great building moment for the program. 5th season for Coach Speed, helping to put this team in a position that they've never been in before as a program. It's a tall order for sure to go this deep into the tournament, especially considering how they got here with late game heroics, overtime on Tuesday, PKs on Friday, one bad bounce against you and you're not here. So they put a lot of energy into this journey that they've been on, going to overtime, going to PKs, a lot of minutes played. You can certainly excuse them for being maybe a little bit tired, especially considering they didn't end until 1 a.m. on Saturday morning. But nevertheless, big picture here, this is a very important moment for this program.
No, and it's fantastic for them. And I think as you see when you get into the tournament, we got Coach Olson's out here. He likes to call the tournament second season because it doesn't matter what you've done. You're in the tournament now, so whatever seed you are, and it's game on. And so Guilford's been able to do that so far to this point, and so good job for them.
On the rush, Mackey leads it ahead for Mega. Looks inside on his right foot to his left. Misplayed it a little bit, but caught back up to it. Now crosses it through, and it's headed away by Salas. Of course, we know what Guilford has done in the quote-unquote second season, but hats off to them for how they finished as well to put themselves in a three-way tie for fourth at the end of the regular season, winning their last 3 matches and taking that momentum into the tournament, as that pass was intercepted by the feet of Ryan Doyle. So they're coming off of 5 straight victories to this point, and not looking good today, but again, good things to look at, good moments to point to when it comes to recruiting and growth and these freshmen and sophomores that outnumber the upperclassmen.
See what happens. They've been able to, knock it around a little bit in their back line. Are they able to kind of penetrate through these midfield lines, get into the attack? Not quite. Still hanging on to the ball. Lynchburg a little bit low pressure. Kind of waiting for mistakes.
Potential here for the Guilford Quakers. Junior Chavez outside to Pineda, back to Chavez, inside, and Auger forced to play it there. Still not quite out of harm's way for the Hornets as Doyle kicks it back through, and the big noggin of Nick Foley sends it back where it came from.
It wasn't a bad hit, really. Just a lot of guys in the way.
And then Daly will send it all the way back across midfield. And we've talked a lot about overtime in this tournament because it has been such a big storyline in the ODAC men's soccer tournament. There is overtime in Lexington for the women's soccer championship. They are in the first OT. Actually, it says 100 minutes, so they must have completed the first overtime. Still scoreless between those two. So literally, the next goal is the biggest goal of the season for whoever finds the back of the net in that one, as they try to complete the contest without going to PKs.
Didn't expect that. That's interesting.
Especially considering what we saw in person with that W&L team, just built different. They just look like a different team entirely, but Bridgewater giving them all they can handle across the mountain. Scrappy Bridgewater team to begin with. Used to playing on grass and grassy turf as opposed to this artificial stuff.
It's definitely faster on the turf.
Yes.
Every time we get on the grass, teams do this on purpose. They have turf fields. They'll play games on turf fields, and when we come into town, they'll switch to grass because they want it to slow down, because they know it's in their favor.
Correct.
To do that.
It's like those old stories you hear from American football where conveniently the field would be soaking wet even though no rain came through the night before. Trying to slow down the team that's coming in on the road. Because you had some extra water in the hose.
All of a sudden the sprinkler system broke.
Malfunction. I don't know what happened, man. It's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. We've avoided, seems to be so far, avoiding some potential rain ourselves here in what is affectionately known as Lynchburg sometimes. It's been cloudy and windy, but no precipitation, which is fine with us after a couple days of it in Central Virginia. Most notably affecting my personal passion of motorsports, pushing back NASCAR, but I'll get to watch it today, so
they look threatening, but they're not. Clouds aren't doing anything.
Right. Unlike the home team today.
Yeah.
Threatening on paper and sending around a lot of thunder and lightning against this Quakers team. 3 goals in the first half. Outshooting Guilford 11-2 now. The Quakers with their only 2 shots coming here to start the second half, as Rodrigo Godino is in serious pain. We know that sometimes you try to embellish it to perhaps bring out a card, but this looks serious for the junior out of Greensboro, North Carolina. So the athletic trainer will take a look at his right arm, and looks like they can extend it, so that's good. Maybe just a stinger. We won't speculate too much more than that. We just know that we want him to get up and be all right. And so far, so good. Might just have to work it out.
Yeah, I thought he broke it, the way he was acting, but
well, you never know, right?
Never know.
When you get a sharp pain in a joint area, you think the worst.
Yep.
I know when I tore my ACL, I didn't even know what I had done. I just knew that it wasn't good, so I was already a crying mess. Like,
right.
The season's over. I don't even know what happened, but it just doesn't feel right.
Right.
Season wasn't over, by the way. I missed 4 games, that's all. Yeah, came back strong.
Nice. Played through it.
Played through it as much as you can.
Put on a brace.
An ACL, yeah. Positive signs from Guilford. We have seen them in their offensive attack a lot more, certainly, than we did in the first half. And I don't know if that's a product of Lynchburg changing anything that they've wanted to do, but it's a good sign for the Quakers as a trip happens here, and a free kick will happen in a moment.
It just seems like the pressure is not as much pressure out of Lynchburg these last maybe last 5-ish minutes or so.
Oh, a yellow card comes out of nowhere, seemingly. I think it's going to go against Ben Mackey.
Yeah.
Perhaps some chatter after the play.
This guy will do that. Not a spot you want to give up a foul. You don't want to give any hope to the team that you're beating.
Rodrigo Godino, who was just down a moment ago, is now going to kick this in, and Gallagher's going to punch it out. That long frame, 6'4", 180. The senior using that to his advantage and giving the Quakers no chance.
Yeah, great play. That was a pretty dangerous ball.
Godino will take the corner on this side. Into the chest of Carter Averett, and then swiftly kicked out of harm's way. Got some developing news on the field hockey front. The field of 6 has been announced for the upcoming ODAC tournament this week. Your top 2 seeds, Lynchburg and Washington and Lee, will skip ahead to the semifinals, as Roanoke College will host Randolph-Macon in the quarters. Shenandoah will host Bridgewater in the quarters as well. So the Lynchburg Hornets looking for another hosting gig next Sunday, and are the 2-time defending champions. The year before that, it was Shenandoah, who's the 4 seed this year, winning on this field in their first ever field hockey championship. So we look forward to that action throughout the week. You can find the live bracket plus the links to all the streams throughout this coming week at odaconline.com. Also updating you across the mountain in Lexington. There's 5 minutes remaining in overtime number 2. Still scoreless between the Generals and the Eagles in the ODAC Women's Soccer Championship.
It'd be interesting to see the possession numbers for this half. You know, like you were talking about before, Guilford, they've been able to keep it a little bit more, finding some space to get into. Sometimes they're too late getting into that space, then forced to making some not favorable passes, not high percentage passes.
You know, every time we're on a broadcast together, we talk about how great it would be to have that number. We need to hire somebody.
Yeah.
We need to have
I
someone
know.
who
I
keeps
know.
track of passes, efficiency, and
Yeah.
also possession. Because those would definitely help formulate this narrative that we're trying to
Yep.
create.
Yep.
But also the eyeball test can tell us that this is way better
Yep.
for Guilford than it was in the first 45 minutes.
Can the new scoreboard do that is the question.
Well, it still has to have an operator behind it, so that's the tough
It's so
part.
technologically advanced.
I'm sure there is a program that would help, as Pineda has that one dispossessed by Foley.
It's beautiful, though. I love that thing up there.
Yeah, it's really showing off the power of its high-quality colors with the ODAC Championship, Soccer Championships logo up there. And it will be in full effect presumably next weekend, maybe even earlier than that. But we do have the Daktronics folks sending someone to train a few of us on Thursday and Friday of this week, 2 8-hour sessions throughout those 2 days, yes, to learn the ins and outs of the program, also how to troubleshoot it, of course, because that's going to be something that's needed at times, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And then it will be up to us to train others so that when LHSN moves to the pavilion next week, inside of that building will also house the person controlling the video board, and we can all work in sync together. Live replays can go up there. Certainly other videos and other events can use the video board here at Schellenberger Field. We know commencement is going to be here, utilizing that large video board as Gallagher calmly lets that ball come into his hands. Perhaps the annual Lynchburg Sports Awards will be outside and using that as well. So lots of great things coming our way here at University of Lynchburg, thanks to the many donors who have supported the 5 for the Hive initiative. 5 locations on campus of improvement needed in athletics. Also includes new bleachers in the gym, Turner Gymnasium, as well as some dugout and seating changes at baseball and softball, plus a brand new tennis court and facility for what is a really fantastic program. Every day you see the scores at the end of the day, and tennis just always seems to win. They're always there. Since Coach Johnson took over, they are victorious. They're actually playing today against Guilford on both men's and women's. It's the senior day for the ladies, and so we wish them the best of luck as Lynchburg as a whole tries to defeat Guilford in 3 different contests, 3 ways today.
It's always good when your university's growing like that. So it's really exciting for these things to come. And you know, at soccer and lacrosse and field hockey, you know, we definitely benefit from this awesome scoreboard.
It's kind of like the last piece to make this stadium area, you know, almost perfect.
Yeah, it's already, I think, one of the best in the ODAC, if not the best, in my opinion. Just the way it's on campus, the center. You got these awesome dorms. People can sit on balconies.
Van Kampen plays it off the chest as opposed to hauling it into his hands. Interesting move as it allows Lynchburg to stay deep near the box. In the end, Guilford will take it back, but
I thought he could actually get a shot off there if he wanted to. Keeper wasn't quite in position after that weird play.
Godino warding off Averett, taking it all the way inside, and then Daly deflecting it, and the ball will keep it from becoming a corner. Or excuse me, the wind will keep it from becoming a corner.
Amazingly.
That's how much of a headwind there is coming from Turner Gymnasium. Most nights that would have been a set piece opportunity. Instead, it's Lynchburg countering with Luke Mega. He's got 1 tonight. He has 3 this week. Will he add to the list here? And that one not enough curve to find the inside of the pole. Disappointed, but reminded when he looks back up at the scoreboard that they're okay.
Yeah, perfectly timed run to get in behind. It was really close, you know, just the way he split those defenders where he could have been off, but he wasn't.
27 minutes remaining in regulation. The celebration for Lynchburg has been put on the stove and is starting to heat up as they are eyeing another trophy to put in the case that already features 17 ODAC championships. 16, I beg your pardon. This would be 17. Doyle wanting to get through the middle, but Averitt had other ideas.
They're still fighting hard.
Well, like we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, this is it. There is no more soccer after today unless you're playing on your own. So you might as well leave it all out here before you head back south to the Piedmont Triad area. Beautiful part of the world. I'm biased, of course, going to High Point University, but still holds a special place for me. As we have PKs in Lexington. Nobody has scored through 110 minutes. So the Bridgewater Eagles still have a chance to win their first ever ODAC championship. The Generals of Washington and Lee looking for their 5th in program history. Lynchburg looking for their 17th in their 20th appearance in the ODAC Tournament Championship. Guilford in their first ever tournament final. And another change for the Hornets as Carter Averitt heads out. You see Michael Rendon coming in. No other major changes for the Hornets. They made their traditional swap, at least the one that's been traditional the last few games, with Lavelle and Lagana checking in a little bit ago. Rendon playing in just his 6th game of the season. Like we're on the Weather Channel, or something at the moment.
Starting to really pick up in those crowd mics.
Yesterday was an amazing moment. In the middle of making a point during the men's lacrosse broadcast, I heard a bee in my ear. So there was somehow, out of all the areas a bee could be, they found our crowd mic and just hummed in it for a little bit. So we were the Nature Channel yesterday.
That's amazing. It wasn't a sound effect.
It was not. No, it was better than that. It was the real thing. Of course, as
was it a hornet?
That's what I wasn't sure about that. I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
But we're going to say that it was, since we have no proof the otherwise.
I'm sure there's someone that can tell the difference.
Yes, it's
not us. There's somebody out there.
Under 24 minutes to play in regulation. Lynchburg with 3 goals from 3 goal scorers. Luke Mega with 36:41 remaining in the first half. Bailey Kearns 5 minutes later. And then Brennan Lagana with 90 seconds to go brought us to where we are now. And it's all academic here with Lynchburg on their way to another ODAC championship here at home. This would be their 3rd straight time winning it at home, as they did so in 2016 and 2017.
Yeah, and you're getting into urgency zone if you're Guilford. I mean, got to get the ball forward.
Lynchburg hasn't had as many runs in the second half, but this one is a beauty so far with Ben Mackey going up top and too tall.
Yeah, he did just some great moves on 1v1. getting in behind. He's trying for that left upper 90 because his angle got kind of severe. So once he started getting closer and he was still wide, it made it tough. It made it a tough angle to score on.
Mackey, a part of a senior class that has some choices to be made, whether or not they take advantage of the extra season of eligibility afforded to them by the NCAA since there is no tournament to be played. Tough choice because of, I'm sure, previous plans that they may have had, and also you have to be enrolled, so money will have to be exchanged.
Yep.
And that makes it really tough on some families.
You certainly hope he comes back.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
If he can afford it.
Well, you think about this group. You got Ben Mackey as a senior. You got Nick Foley, Kyle Gallagher, Bailey Kearns. You know, some people that we have seen throughout the season play large roles. And if they come back, including this other junior, sophomore, freshman group, the Hornets will be another threat again to hoist the trophy.
Yeah, you know, you're 20 minutes away from winning one. Hopefully you can get them back to do another one.
Now, just so you know, I clarified this morning with the ODAC office that the winner today will be crowned the 2020-21 ODAC champion.
Okay.
Whoever wins in the fall will be the 2021 champion. It's hard to...
Not 2020.
Correct.
So it'll be
Correct.
a gap.
There won't be a true 2020 fall champ because technically they are playing in 2021. You could say spring champion if you wanted to as well, but we are going with the moniker 2020-21. And then, of course, in the fall, it'll just go back to its normal traditional way of labeling it. It's easy to write an asterisk. It's harder to say it out loud.
Yeah, exactly.
Asterisk 2020 ODAC champions just doesn't have the same ring to it.
In Guilford, just being able to keep it a little bit. You got kind of low pressure by Lynchburg. And again, you can make them take as much time as you want because you've got all the time in the world.
Right. A quick peek over to Lexington as Kenny Robles, Bailey Kearns, and Saeed Usman step back in for the Hornets. And we also are going to see Guilford make a change and bring Ryan Mute, the junior from Coral Gables, Florida, into the contest. Right now it looks like, based on the live stats anyway, looks like Bridgewater has made 2 of the PK shots that they've taken. WNL with a goal, and then it says right post. I don't know if that means it clanged off the post or that's where the goal went as Usman's shot goes high. More changes are being made for both teams. Ben James ready to step on the pitch for the Quakers. I think it's Carter Averett coming back in for Lynchburg. Free kick here for the Hornets. Joey Daly will take it.
Yeah, you can take all the time you want.
So it's 3-1 Bridgewater and Lexington in PKs.
Wow.
They have hit all 3 of their shot attempts as Daly comes in looking for Usman, and it's punched out by Van Kampen. Good work by the senior in yellow. And Bridgewater takes care of business in the next PK opportunity. I beg your pardon, WNL does, so it's 3-2. Bridgewater makes it here. That should do it. Trying to do play-by-play on both ends. It's just
tough.
It's crazy. As Robles lines up for a corner. We haven't seen this all year. Someone not Mackey or Daly taking the corner. Van Kampen got a piece of it, and then Guilford able to kick it away from harm. As Bridgewater makes their 4th PK kick in 4 tries.
Checking on the keeper here. He may be hurt after that last play. He's hung tough.
Speaking of hanging tough, Bridgewater's keeper makes a save, and the Eagles have won their first ever ODAC championship in women's soccer history. Congratulations to Bridgewater College. Here it has been Lynchburg from the start, dominating this contest, outshooting Guilford 14-2 with 6 shots on target, 3 saves from Van Kampen and 3 that have gotten past him, all coming in the first half off the feet of Mega, Kearns, and Lagana. Be sure to stay tuned with us as the game finishes. We will broadcast the trophy ceremony and allow you to hear who the all-tournament team will be. 4 players from Lynchburg, 3 from Guilford, and a few others from other schools.
You got Guilford just exerting a little bit more pressure up top as they try to make things a little bit more urgent.
And now it's Lynchburg taking advantage of that moment with Robles having a shot at it. Van Kampen saying no.
Great save. He was in a favorable spot, and again, hanging tough in goal.
All the games that we've seen this season, and even the couple that I've been able to go to on the road and watch on the road, it is amazing to me that Kenny Robles does not have a goal this year based on his skill and the couple great chances that he's had. He does have 5 assists, which is a huge part of any success on the offensive end, but you got to make sure that you're taking being aware of him come fall 2021, because once that can comes off, it's probably going to keep flowing outward into more goals for the sophomore.
Yeah, and I would have thought he would have had 1 or 2 or 3 by now as well. I mean, he's so creative in the attack. It's obviously why they love to have him out wide like that. Just makes things happen when he gets the ball. He's hard to get the ball from.
Yeah,
even.
Yeah. Interesting sub here late in the game with 14 minutes to go, and now we see Kenny Nzekwe, the hero for Guilford through 2 tournament games, the overtime winner on Tuesday and the PK victory winner on Friday. He has been out the majority of this one after coming off the field favoring one of I think it was his left leg, which is the one that's taped up right now, but seems to be all right at the moment. Meanwhile, Patrick Pecunis may not be, checking for blood.
Yeah, he got hit in the mouth or nose on the header, which, you know, is common. We got all those guys jumping up.
Well, it's very similar to what took place for Kyle Gallagher. I mentioned that earlier. Corner kick, just came out to punch the ball, and somebody's arm or head or something got him in the stomach, knocked the wind out of him. And he brought all that wind here today, apparently.
Yeah.
It is still ripping through Schellenberger Field. And the hometown fans doing their part to let the coaching staff know they want Carter Sadin to come in. A part of the senior class for Lynchburg and a member of the senior class that has not played today.
Might see him come on.
Good tackle there to keep that ball away from Usman. That was Haustein. 13 minutes to play.
Moving the throw up.
Wow.
That doesn't normally happen.
No, it doesn't. Especially not what we've seen today.
Nope. Normally they're pushing you back.
Really tough to push Lynchburg back today. They established their dominance from the get-go. There was no, if you will, hangover moment from winning a game in overtime on Friday. A match that always brings the extra energy when you play Hampton-Sydney, and then if you have to go there, there's the extracurricular energy that comes from the sidelines and beyond that you always have to contend with. And Lynchburg has done well, winning there twice, and you could definitely forgive them if they may have come out slow today, considering that they defeated Guilford earlier this year 5-1, thinking it was going to be more of an easy type of test. But what Lynchburg did was establish their dominance early and scored 2 goals within 5 minutes after the 37-minute mark. During that 36-41 to 31-19 section of the first half. And that really put themselves in prime position. They threw another one in there for good measure, and they have certainly been the favorite today and shown it with their actions. As I think Carter Saden is warming up, and he is, so the people around us are happy to see 23 in white getting ready to be inserted into the action.
Yeah, and I think Lynchburg did something really important to start the half, and it's they came out really hard, and they put a lot of pressure on, and they had opportunities early too. I mean, I know there wasn't another here in the second half, but they certainly had, prime opportunities in the box to get them, and it really takes that hope away from the other team when you do that. So.
Slicing through the defense is Joey Daly to his strong right foot. Clangs one off of Van Kampen, and it's Ben Mackey with the rebound goal.
Yeah, way to drive into the box, get the shot off. That's why you want to have players around for the rebound, because when it's hit hard enough, the keeper can't hold on to it. And in that case, Ben Mackey's the recipient of that.
Check it out again. How about the moves from Joey Daly to begin with? And then the garbage man comes through, puts it in the back of the truck, and
cleans it up.
Now the next stop is ODAC Championship Trophy hoisting. The Hornets on their way to lifting the trophy again as Carter Saden comes in, as well as Zach Whelan. So a senior and a freshman step onto the pitch. Luke Omega comes back for Lynchburg.
Yeah, and if you're Guilford, you want to try to get out of this with not letting any more in. Don't give up, because that last goal, I mean, obviously they weren't coming back, but that last goal is a real dagger in anything you were trying to do or hope to do. Like Lynchburg's warming up. A few more guys may come in here in the final few minutes just to get some guys experience.
Chance for them to know what it's like to play in a championship game, this type of atmosphere and this big of a moment. Saden pushes it ahead to Mackey, keeps it from going across the end line.
It's the right ball played in.
Whelan looking for Kearns, finds him. And then swiftly taken away by Doyle. Kearns working back, though, to regain the possession. Kearns wanting to split 2 defensemen. The ball did, he did not. Good ball ahead for Nzekwe, the leading scorer for the Quakers. Not enough to take it himself.
Nope.
So he'll play it back on the trail, trying to get some help. Curled in. And then kicked out.
They were almost calling him off. They were thinking he was off, but he was on.
Bruno Gonzalez back on the pitch for the Quakers, as Lynchburg will make some changes as well whenever they're allowed. Tough day for Guilford, but a good day in program history to say that they made it this far. They earned their spot, certainly, with an overtime winner and a PK victory in the quarters and the semis, as a yellow card is given to Carter Sadin. Hey, make the most of your time, man.
I guess so.
Last game of your career.
It just, you know, I don't know. You really give cards to get the game to kind of calm down,
right?
You know, so it's like he's not the last offender. Maybe he clipped a guy, but you know, does he need a card?
My answer is no. But
no, my answer is no too.
We knew what yours was.
Yeah.
We could tell what yours was. Free kick.
But you're not going to complain as coaches because it's like, well, you're winning. So
at this point, yeah. There's no need to add to it, as a beautiful ball is played from Sadin to Mackey, now ahead to Mega. On a dead sprint is Whelan on the other side. Mega looking for him. Maybe it's Sadin with the header. Saved by Van Kampen. Oh, man, the roof, if there was one here, would have been blown off quickly if Carter Sadin could score in the championship game.
Yeah, and that was, you know, what an amazing counter where the ball was in Lynchburg's defensive third. Couple passes forward, and then boom, you hit Luke Mega's feet, and he's into the attack, getting numbers forward, and what an awesome opportunity that almost was.
A senior out of Raleigh, North Carolina. That close to his first career goal in his last career game. But still a great highlight nonetheless. I'm sure our crew will still put it on the end of the broadcast.
Good save in the end.
Yes, yes. Van Kampen has been in a really tough position all day long, but he has done yeoman's-like work between the pipes, and it many times has kept this from being much worse than it is.
Absolutely.
6 saves for Van Kampen today.
None of them were easy.
No, certainly not.
Sometimes those stat columns are a little padded, and none of them today have been easy. Really, all of them could have been 6 more goals.
It gives him 64 saves on the year as well. That sounds like a high number to me for a team that won 6 games, right?
Yeah.
64 saves. So he might be even better than we realize.
Well, that's a lot for how many games they've played.
Yes.
So not something you want.
No. Yeah, definitely not where you want to be numbers-wise.
No.
But to still be here,
Seriously.
to still be in the championship game, says a lot about his play and overcoming some probably not so great moments.
Right.
He has 3 shutouts too on the season. So tip of the cap to Zach Van Kampen, senior from North Carolina, potentially playing in his final game. As Sadin starts the run, pushes it through for Mackey. Can he get another? No! Big left foot of Van Kampen steps out there. And now Guilford will swiftly kick it back toward midfield. 5 minutes remaining as the crowd continues to warm up the vocals in anticipation of yelling in celebration.
Another great save. I mean, that was, it had been Mackey right in the middle of the goal, close. Under 5.
Once again, it's Saden leading the charge. In the end, just too much defense. He's wondering where the whistle is. Meanwhile, there's a Quaker still down back at midfield. Has been for a while.
Yep.
I'm not able to see a number, so not sure who that is at the moment. But we will find out in just a few. Could be Doyle, perhaps. Nope.
Maybe an ankle. Kind of acting like
Yeah,
it.
Parker Willis, freshman from Raleigh, needing some help off the field. As a packed line there of fans ready to enjoy another ODAC championship coming to University of Lynchburg. It would be the third since we began back on January 17th. That was the first game of the year for any team. Men's basketball defeating Methodist that day. This has been a friendly place for the Lynchburg Hornets. A great home record overall as a department. Lynchburg, oddly enough, better on the road this year than they were here.
Wow.
Although they did play Hampton-Sydney and Washington and Lee here
Right.
this season. So 2-2-1 at home, 5-1 on the road. Things getting a little more chippy.
See, this is when you give cards.
Yeah.
You know.
It seems like it's more warranted now.
Yeah, than earlier. Calm it down. I mean, he kicked the ball into a player after the play is called dead.
McIninch still in some pain. As Saden steps in front of that free kick. And the referee's going for another card. Saden is done.
Yeah. Wow.
Well,
so they're giving him a card for jumping forward into the kick. And having 2 yellows, he's done.
well, you know, there's 2 ways to make
Yeah.
your final game memorable.
Yeah.
You score your first career goal,
Or you get, a red card.
booted.
Yeah,
and
or you get a red card, yeah.
the latter just happened to Carter Saden. And so Lynchburg will be playing with 10 men for the last 3.5 minutes.
Ideally you get the goal, but rather than the card.
Yes.
But, it's just the first one was so sort of nothing that you don't even really think, oh, I have a yellow, and you can't jump into a kick,
Right.
which is honestly rarely called. 'Cause
Yes.
people do it all the time because I complain about it and they never call it. So for this is another interesting moment to be called at the end of the 3 minutes left.
Yeah,
like,
I don't understand the reasonings for that. But
No.
if you are Lynchburg, you just smile and say, fine, man,
Yeah.
cool. We're on our way
Yeah.
to our 17th ODAC championship, our 3rd one in 5 seasons.
I think there was some scoreboard pointing during that moment.
Well, that's not going to help things. Bailey Kearns is going to pick up a card as well. You're trying to prove an extra point, but with a referee like this, he's not going to have any tolerance.
No.
And I think he's telling Bailey Kearns to leave the field or come with him.
What? Maybe he has blood. He must have blood.
Okay.
Now they do need to bring somebody on if he's. He's got to come on now. You got to wait till he comes on.
Yeah, Lagana's coming back in to replace the body of Kearns, who is going to be done for the rest of the game at this moment. McIninch with the header. We weren't ready for all this. It was kind of touch and go, a little bit boring there for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to say. I feel bad when it gets that way, but it's,
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
We're all watching the same game.
Yeah, and last 5 minutes been interesting.
And they're trying to make it, certainly trying to make things memorable. But in the end, Lynchburg will have the best memory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Guilford still trying to go for it. Under 2 minutes. Ball hanging around the box, and there's a goal.
Well, Guilford will not be skunked today as they score their third goal against Lynchburg since 2012. Their second one this season. That man in charge of making that happen, Bruno Gonzalez, sophomore out of Winston-Salem, gives Guilford an extra positive to take home with them.
Yep, and ideally you want to keep a clean sheet, but ball hanging around like we talked about, hangs around the box long enough, somebody's going to punch it through.
It was a good shot too, up in the upper 90 right side.
It becomes a frustrating last few minutes, and so you just sort of maybe let your guard down a little.
Worth noting, Lynchburg is playing with 10 men. Sadin getting the red card. But even with 11, it might have been a goal no matter what, as long as that ball was hanging around.
Yep.
Well, at the end of the day, Lynchburg going to be on their way to their 17th ODAC championship, the 7th under the tutelage of Chris Yeager. Third time in 5 seasons, this time as the 4 seed. Lagana puts one inside with 3 seconds to go. Why not? The freshman with his 4th of the season, his 2nd of the day, just to add more whipped cream to the top of this. And for the 2nd time this season, this series is going to end with Lynchburg winning it 5-1 over Guilford.
Yeah, and he just gets it 1v1. The goalie's played well all year. Gets Meg there at the end.
Tough way to go out for sure.
Yep.
As President Allison Morrison-Shetler looks on, ready to celebrate with another team. It'll be the 3rd team championship in the ODAC for Lynchburg in 2021. As the horn sounds, the hive is spoken, and the Lynchburg Hornets are your 2020-21 ODAC men's soccer champions. Fantastic effort by Lynchburg today from the get-go. Guilford never gave up. They battled right to the end, putting a goal on the board to boot. But at the end of the day, just too much to handle were the Hornets.
Yeah, and you're most vulnerable right after you score. So it's not a huge surprise that Lynchburg's able to regain that possession, go right to goal, put one in.
Well, we are going to show you some highlights of this one and then be right back with the trophy celebration as the Hornets are ready to celebrate for the 17th time in program history an ODAC championship. Big shout out to the entire LHSN crew and of course Coach Matt Newton being with me today. Joe Hutchler, your narrators for this journey. The Hornets successful in the championship game at home again. More to come next, but for now it's so long from me and Coach Newton on LHSN.
But there are lots of different communities on Guilford College's campus. And the way that I think about this is think about entering a grand buffet. The thing that you don't want to do is make a bologna sandwich. So in this buffet that is Guilford College, you have so many different options to take advantage of in order to explore your passions and what you are interested in.
There's not one student type here. So, whether I'm talking to a couple of students about things going on in the community, whether I'm talking to students about their political values, or just their moral compass and just things going on in their life. It's just fun. All the students are great. The number one thing that people come talk to me about is there's nothing to do. And I want to be like, have you looked at what's the G? There's so much to do. Have you reached out to any of the clubs that you got to meet? No, I haven't. Well, let me tell you, what are you interested in? Okay, if you're not interested in any of these, let's start a new club. There's so many great organizations here, so it's easy to get involved.
Other resources include, if you live on campus, your resident assistant. There's an upper class mentor there to help you be successful and become acclimated to campus. Our Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion has a fantastic proliferation of programs that are available to students to help you explore issues around diversity, equity, and inclusion. And finally, I would just always encourage you to reach out to other professors and staff members to help you as you are transitioning to Guilford and getting to know our Guilford College campus. Just remember, when you get here, don't just make a bologna sandwich, don't just stay in your room and play video games, but get out there and enjoy the campus and get to know other people that are as passionate as you.
For the love of the game. That's what it's all about, they say. But for those of us who are Division III student athletes, it's more than that, a lot more.
Sure, the game is important, but as we work so hard to build both mind and body, it's more about team and the schools and communities we represent.
And for the many of us blessed with the strength to compete in sport at the college level, we understand that with what we were given comes a special obligation.
An obligation not merely to work towards a personal best in the classroom or in the sport we love, but rather an obligation to help those who have their own special needs and whose love for the game is no less intense.
That is why NCAA Division III teamed up with Special Olympics. For Special Olympics athletes, victory belongs not only to those who first cross the line, but to all of those who compete and endure.
They are challenged in ways we cannot imagine. They are survivors who test themselves harder and with greater joy than we will ever know.
Since August of 2011, we and others from Division III campus communities have volunteered more than 250,000 hours, time away from the classroom and practice field, reaching across the country to coach and mentor Special Olympics athletes.
And to learn, as we all do, that in giving we receive so much more in return.
Sport ennobles us, And in giving the gift of sport to those for whom it seemed an impossible dream, we are working to make this a better world.
Help us keep that dream alive.
Be part of it.
Get involved.
You can make a difference.
Capturing their 17th conference title. Here they are,